Hi everybody, it's Laura from Laura Cully Hypnotherapy. So today I'm going to give you my 5 top tips on developing confidence in any situation. So quite often when people come to me, they say to me, I don't know if I just lack confidence or if I'm anxious and if I'm suffering from anxiety. And I always say, well, actually, I think the two things are very linked, aren't they? Because if you're lacking in self-confidence, that can make you feel anxious. If you're lacking confidence in a particular situation, you feel anxious about it. So that's natural. And obviously the other way, if you're feeling anxious and you're suffering from anxiety, that can really knock your confidence. And so the two things are very, very similar. So the way that we deal with them is actually quite similar, and I will give people the same kind of tips for boosting confidence as to kind of overcoming their anxiety. So my 5 top tips today then. So the first one is to let go of those limiting beliefs about who you are and what you're capable of. So they may be things that were installed years and years ago when you were a child. You might have been told, well, you're not very good at this or that. Or it might just be something that you've developed. You might have tried something once, find it didn't go well. So you've developed this limiting belief that I'm not very good at, or I'm not very good in a certain situation. So first thing is to really start to question that, because it's not true. We can all change, we can all develop, we can all learn. So if you think about little children, when you were little, you would have had that confidence that you could do anything. They'll just have a go, won't they? And it's like a child learning to walk. And we've talked about this before, that, at no point do they ever think, well, I just keep falling down. They just keep getting up again. And they never think to themselves, perhaps I'm just not a walker. Perhaps I should just go back to crawling. I was okay at that. Perhaps that's my speed. Doesn't happen. So try and find that inner confidence again that you once had. So my second tip number 2, is to think about those thoughts that are going through your head. And that critical voice that I'm always talking about, the one that likes to tell you what an idiot you are or how you're not very good at certain things. And I want you to squash that. And quite often I do this in hypnosis with my clients, and we have some great fun with this. So we develop this little character that's saying all those things, and we squash it and we get rid of it, and we install a guardian angel or a cheerleader or just a best friend that's actually going to be there with you, telling you that actually you're doing really well, that's encouraging you. Because if you're not there to encourage yourself, who is going to be? So think about what you're saying to yourself, and if it is that annoying little critical voice, start to notice what it's saying and begin to change it. So tip number 3 is to do some positive visualization, because when we're feeling anxious and we're lacking confidence, what we tend to do is torture ourselves by imagining the situation going really badly. We start to imagine all the things that could go wrong. We start to imagine what other people are thinking, what they're saying about us. And it's always very, very negative. And of course, all that does is destroys your confidence even further, makes you feel even more anxious. So it's the worst thing we can do. And yet it's something that for some reason we all do. And when things do go wrong, if they do go wrong, when you're actually in the moment, you tend to deal with it quite easily. Whereas when you're imagining it, it just seems like a complete disaster, and you can end up actually putting yourself off doing things or saying things because you start to imagine that it's all going to go really badly. So instead, I want you to turn that around and start to imagine that things are going really, really well. If you did brilliantly, what would that look like? How would you feel? And again, something I do in hypnosis a lot with my clients is to imagine somebody that you really admire. So it could be somebody that has a lot of confidence, or somebody that's really good at doing the particular thing you're about to do. And start to imagine, first of all, how they would do it. Imagine what they would say, how they would behave, what they would look like, how they would feel. And then imagine that you can actually step into their shoes, that you could become that person. How would that feel? If you could speak like they do, act like they do. So just imagine everything going really well and keep going over that. Imagine that really positive future. So tip number 4 is to change your body language. So even if you're feeling really nervous and you're lacking confidence, maybe you're about to give a speech or you've got to go and have a conversation with somebody, and instead of kind of hunching your shoulders, looking away, avoiding eye contact, stand up straight, hold your shoulders back, look them in the eye, and just act as though this is something you've been doing for years and you do it brilliantly, and it's like water off a duck's back. So just start to change your body language, smile, because our bodies and our minds talk to each other all the time. So just by standing up straight, smiling, making eye contact, going into that situation, just faking it to begin with, fake it till you make it. It really does work. Change your body language and you'll find that your feelings change. And along with that, your thoughts will begin to change and you'll start to think more clearly. So my last tip number 5, is just to face your fears. Because it's so easy, isn't it, when we decide we're not good at something or something makes us feel a little bit uncomfortable, to just put it off, to completely avoid it. And of course, often with that, we just carry on imagining the worst case scenario. No, because if I do that, this will happen, that will happen, it will be a disaster. And we just get stuck in that little comfort zone, or little cage as I like to call it, and never having the courage to step out. So do you know what, if you start facing your fears, just start doing it, go out, give it a go, you might find that actually it's a lot easier than you thought it was going to be. It might even be really enjoyable, but you'll never know unless you go out and try it. And the more you do these things, the more your confidence will just naturally start to grow. So just to recap those 5 top tips. So the first one is to drop those limiting beliefs. Okay, number 2 is to watch that critical voice. Get rid of that. Install this little cheerleader or guardian angel. Number 3, positive visualization. Practice what's going to happen in your mind. See it all going brilliantly. Number 4, change your body language. Stand up straight. Look people in the eye. And number 5 is face your fears. Feel that lack of confidence, that anxiety, go out and do it anyway. Okay, so thank you very much for listening. If you would like help with any of these things, please do get in touch. I offer a 45-minute free consultation. So you can just come and tell me what's been going on, how you're feeling, what the particular problems are, and then I'll know if I can help you or not. And usually I can. If it's to do with anxiety, I know it well, and it's not something that you have to live with. So please don't feel that I'm just an anxious person. This is the way things are. That is so not true. You can learn skills, you can learn techniques. We can use hypnosis to change some of those deeper beliefs. So please do come and have a chat. I'll put a link in the comments below so that you can just click on that, make an appointment, and come and have a chat with me. Okay, thanks for listening, everybody. I'll be back soon.